Jess C. Scott, a famous modern-day author, once noted, while reflecting on some of her past writings, that people are sheep and TV is the shepherd. Mass media is affecting people's lives daily. There's no doubt about that. Some of this affecting is for our betterment, such as being able to connect instantly with anyone, anywhere, at any time. It's brought about a new level of aptitude of learning possibilities that people before had not been aware of, and it's also a new level of entertainment and marketing possibilities, and just so much more. However, not all mass media's effect on the population is for the better. Just a single example of this is that because we are so used to using comments and a certain number of likes on our social media platforms as a sort of social hierarchy placement, we look for that same sort of approval and acceptance from others all around us every day, constantly. And when we may not get it, that feeling of disapproval from our peers is not ever forgotten and can even become feared. By first acknowledging and understanding the powerful grasp media has on our everyday lives, we can use this information to become not only happier people, but significantly more aware of our social and real life imbalances, and pay more attention to living in the moment rather than living through the virtual world that we seem to be constantly letting ourselves down in. I am a part of the above referenced communities of today, and that has been affected by the illusion of mass media and how it is able to so intensely warp people's thoughts, lives, opinions, worldviews, etc. Because I indeed am a part of the problem, and as well as the affected area, for lack of a better term, I have also been a first-hand witness to seeing these mentioned effects take place. Mass media is an extremely powerful presence in our communities today and is negatively impacting as well as biasly shaping individuals in their thoughts, worldviews, ideas, opinions, etc., as well as societies as a whole. First, I will cover and introduce mass media, all of its forms, and acknowledge its major presence in our everyday lives. Second, I will discuss, because it is so prevalent in our everyday lives, how it is able to take a hold and significantly shape our own personal thoughts, opinions, ideas, worldviews, etc. Finally, I will present data that supports the mass media's presence is indeed affecting its viewers' lives negatively, as well as in dishonest ways. Now that we have established how important an awareness about mass media and how it very well is affecting people just like you and me daily, having a deeper and more specific understanding can make it reversing or putting a stop to its effects not only significantly easier, but simpler as well. Mass media has many forms and is a major presence in our everyday lives. MentalHealth.net is an extremely merit-based site dedicated to studying mental health as well as mental illnesses. They make sure to note that these sort of illnesses or health issues are very commonly formed because of the effects of mass media. The accredited site noted and specified all the forms of mass media. One specific form that they refer to as print media. Print media is represented specifically through forms of books, magazines, and newspapers. Other extremely notable forms of media would be that of television, video games, movies, music, cell phones, different kinds of softwares, and the internet. So now that we've covered mass media's many forms as well as their potential effects, let's move right along into how mass media is able to take such a significant hold of us. Since these forms of media are so prevalent in our everyday lives, it is able to keep taking a hold of our thoughts, opinions, personal worldviews, and more. TomorrowsWorld.org is a similarly majorly accredited site that is known for informing the everyday public on all sorts of issues. A specific study that Tomorrow's World had done showed exactly how the media has been able to shape our lives and minds. Because it has become such a gluttonous source of everyday viewers go to seek immediate gratification through, its pleasurable and entertainment is why it has become so prevalent in our everyday lives. We seek gratification through things such as movies, novels, TV shows, music, etc. But what we don't realize is that each of these sources are coming from writers and producers who are craving to reshape society along the lines of their preferences. This need to reshape our society's opinions and worldviews and ideas leads to them pushing their own personal agendas and opinions in what seems to be a neutral, informative platform, as well as unbiased. However, that is not the case. Now, because we understand how the media has such a powerful grasp on us daily, that brings us to the facts of exactly where everyday viewers are being genuinely affected. Finally, I will present the data that supports how mass media's presence is indeed affecting its viewers' lives negatively as well as dishonest ways. According to the highly attributed Forbes magazine in 2012, the social media site Facebook gave 9 million users the opportunity to let their peers, colleagues, and friends know that they had voted in the presidential election being held. The votings and data to come from these users talked about their votes. It seemed the presidential candidate Obama overwhelmingly turned out the women's voters. Finding this interesting, Facebook did a little more digging and discovering that women are disproportionately more likely to share the news on Facebook as opposed to men. Meaning, because men weren't as equally represented in the pollings as women were, the statistic that proved women were more likely to vote in favor of Obama was unreliable and was misinforming Facebook's 1 billion users and possibly pressuring other women to follow suit when in the voting boxes. As you can easily see, mass media is undeniably an extremely misleading and negative force to be reckoned with. This source has been proven today to very well be impacting individuals in our societies as a whole, or at the very least has now been proven to be capable of doing so. I first covered and introduced mass media, all of its forms, and acknowledged its major presence in our everyday lives. Then I discussed, because it's so prevalent in our everyday lives, how it is able to take a hold and significantly shape our own personal thoughts, opinions, and worldviews. I then finally presented the data that supports how mass media's presence is indeed affecting its viewers' lives negatively as well as in dishonest ways. By being able to understand and see for yourself the effect mass media has on people's lives, as well as your own daily lives, we can use this newfound information and become not only happier people but significantly more aware of our social and real life imbalances and pay more attention to living in the moment rather than living through the virtual world that we seem to be relentlessly misinformed in, as well as constantly letting ourselves down in, which, as we learned today, can lead to serious mental illnesses and health issues. In conclusion, mass media is an extremely powerful presence in our communities today and is negatively impacting as well as biasly shaping individuals' thoughts, worldviews, ideas, opinions, etc., as well as their societies as a whole. Whether or not you have been aware of the control mass media has on its viewers or not, it's still affecting each and every one of the viewers the same way, by greatly influencing our lives as a whole and in their entirety. We only know the information that the media allows us or wants us to know, and that's a cold hard fact. I encourage you to take charge of your own learning, absorb what is fact, and disregard what is bias. It is only then that we will truly be in control and finally able to step into the light of what is truly our world and not what others want you to think it is. I would like to leave you with the famed quote by Malcolm X. The media is the most powerful entity on earth. They have the power to make the innocent guilty and to make the guilty innocent, and that's power, because they control the minds of the masses. Don't be one of the masses.